Podcasts are an amazing way to connect with and grow your audience, especially if you're a business owner. But when you're just trying to start a podcast out, it can seem very daunting. Not to worry, in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to grow your business's very own podcast. Hi everybody, I'm Bobby from RE3 Media, where we help you grow your business through social media. If you like what you're seeing here and want to stay up to date with all the latest trends that help you build your brand, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss when we post a video. So when it comes to starting a podcast, there's really three main areas to consider here. The first is content. You see, before you even press record, it's very important to know what the content and structure of your show is going to be. Are you an interview style podcast where you're speaking to other figureheads within your industry? Are you a news style show where you're directly covering events that affect your audience? Maybe your podcast is just you answering questions directly from your consumers. Whatever your podcast is, it's important to know in advance. Knowing what your content is going to be in advance will help build the structure of your show and help you stay consistent week to week. Oh, and bonus tip, for some shows, like the one where you're answering questions from your audience, that is a great template for content that you could film in batches so that you always have a little bit of a backlog in case of scheduling issues. This is a great way to help you stay consistent and posting week to week, which will obviously lend to your podcast growing. All right, so now that you know what your show is and what you're going to be talking about, it's time to move on to gear. And when you're just starting out, looking at gear online to set up a podcast can be extremely overwhelming. All the different cameras, lights, microphones, a computer to edit on, sound foam, headphones. It can be a lot, especially if you're new to content creation. But that's okay, because the great thing about podcasts is there's actually a much lower barrier to entry than a lot of people think. For example, do you have a phone that came out in the last 5 years? Great. Pair that with a decent USB mic and some good natural lighting, and that is more than enough to get you started creating content and rolling out episodes of your podcast. As long as your audio is crisp and your content is genuine, that's all you need to get started, and you can always upgrade over time. And if you want to get a better idea of the gear that I'm talking about, we've actually included some links down below to a couple different configurations of podcast gear for you to check out, ranging all the way from newbie to podcast pro. All right, so now that you've got your podcast recorded, it's time for editing and distribution. Now, when you're just starting out editing your podcast, my advice would be to go with a software like iMovie. It's super user-friendly with a lot of great transitions, sound effects, and titles built right in, not to mention the fact that it is free and bundled in with every Apple computer. Just like with gear though, the more comfortable you get creating content, the more you can upgrade and go in depth with your editing software as well. Once you get comfortable, there are really great mobile solutions like LumaFusion for the iPad, which is my personal favorite way to edit on the go. Or if you're looking for a pro-level software, you've got things on desktop like Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro as well. Now that your podcast is created, however, you've got an episode, it's all edited and ready to go, it's time to distribute. And podcast distribution has come so far in recent years, with sites like Anchor being the flagship of that. If you don't know what Anchor is an amazing site that for free will not only host your podcast, but distribute it to other platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. All you have to do is upload your file, and Anchor literally takes care of everything else. On top of that, they also have built-in monetization options to help you connect with advertisers once your podcast is at that level. So there you go, a full roadmap how to get your business's first podcast off the ground. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to take your business's social media to the next level, visit us at re3media.com. Till next time, take care.